Thank you, and thank you. Welcome to the Calvin Dean Show, sponsored by the NFL. This is Calvin Dean. I'm telling you, we have some news for you today. Wow. Deshaun Watson. The Texans remain unwilling to talk about Deshaun Watson and a trade. He is incredibly unhappy, that's for sure, in Houston. And Chris Godwin, on the other hand, the Buccaneers star wideout, says he will play on the franchise tag. Of course he will. If you have Tom Brady as your quarterback and you know that you're pretty much set to go back to the Super Bowl next year, of course you're going to play on the franchise tag. Now getting back to Mr. Deshaun Watson. The Jets are making some moves, people. They're making some moves. The third pick of the 2019 draft, Quentin Williams. Yes, the defensive tackle. There's some speculations of a trade here, and it has something to do with Deshaun Watson. Now think about it. He's still in his rookie contract, Mr. Williams is, right? Okay. And Mr. Deshaun Watson has speculated that he really would love to play for the New York Jets. Well, they just got rid of J.J. Watts, right? Now, think about that now, people. Think about that. Defensive tackle coming on board, third-round pick, 2019 draft. It sounds like the Jets are starting to make some moves and getting ready for Mr. Watson to arrive in New York City nightlife. But, the question is, what about Mr. Sam Darnold? I feel sorry for that guy. He was the number 2 of 23 picks of the quarterback. He was the second quarterback, to go in the first round. And, I don't think they've really given him the means to look great. I'm telling you, if Mahomes went on the Jets, he would look just as terrible as Sam Darnold. And, it's just true. They don't have any talent around him. And poor Sam, he's thrown into the wolves, It's sort of like Mr. Burrows over at Cincinnati. I told everyone last year when he was picked number 1, I said, oh my, I hope that Cincinnati does not start him, because if they start him, he's going to get badly injured. And what happened? They started him, and what happened? He got badly injured. Wow. I hate to predict those kind of things, but you have to listen. You have to listen to Calvin Dean, people. You have to do that, because I do know my stuff. I even predicted that Tampa Bay last year. Go to my podcast, predicted that they would go all the way and win a championship with Mr. Tom the Goat Brady. And, of course, they did. And, there's a lot of things going on in the NFL, a lot of things. Sean McVay with the Rams, the coach of the Rams, talked about, Jared Goff, as the Rams quarterback. And he says there was a lot of happy times, that Jared was, at one time, he was very happy with Jared, that's for sure, but, he was just too inconsistent. And McVay just needed something. And man, they got Matthew Stafford coming into town. Wow. It's unofficial right now, the whole trade. It will be official on March 17th. And McVay was unable to speak about his new signal caller. You can't speak about him until the March 17th date. And I think he's incredibly happy. Are you kidding me? You're going to get Matthew Stafford as your quarterback? Wow. The guy is all world. He's all world, seriously, guys, he is. Yeah, he's all about that and then some, that's for sure. What about Mr. Adam Humphries. The Titans cut wideout Adam Humphries after 2 seasons. They just cut him. He was hurt the majority of the time, but he's done in Nashville. They're releasing the wideout after 2 seasons on the club, and I don't know where he will be going. He's sort of like an Edelman type, He clears $4.75 million in cap space, but it also leaves behind $5 million in dead money this season. So, he's still owed that $5 million. So, I'm telling you, in 7 games last season, Humphrey caught 23 balls for 228 yards and 2 scores. It's just, he was hurt. And I think that had a lot to do with it. I think whatever team he ends up on, I think they'll use him well. But he ended up on a running team. And the Titans, they're all about the run. And the second, they just want to grind with Henry, that big back. Man, it's just, wow, to be on, as a wide receiver, to go on a team like that, it's hard to swallow because you're mainly blocking the whole entire time, But, let's go over the rankings of the quarterbacks, and for the 2020 season. Of course, my number 1 ranking quarterback for the 2020 season is Mr. Tom Brady. He took his team all the way to the Super Bowl. He ended up with 5,694 passing yards, 64% passing rating out of 20 games, and 50 passing touchdowns in those 20 games. Of course, I'm counting the not just the preseason, but the 4 games that he played in the playoffs. And he had 15 interceptions, 3 rushes, 4 rushing touchdowns. Really, the guy, he had 54 touchdowns total. Come on, people. 54 touchdowns, you got to give him that. You just got to give him that, now, Mr. Rogers is right there. He had 53 passing touchdowns, 4 rushing touchdowns, 57 for Mr. Rogers, but 4,941 passing yards. He was at 70% passing, which is amazing, only in 18 games. So, mind you, it is pretty close, but I'm giving it to the GOAT, Mr. Tom Brady, because he took his team all the way to the Super Bowl, and he beat Mr. Rogers. And I'm giving the second pick to Mr. Rogers. He is well-deserved, the second quarterback in the lead in 2020. Mr. Patrick Mahomes, I'm sliding him to number 3, that's for sure. Patrick Mahomes ended up with a season of 5,590 yards passing in 18 games, and he had 66% passing rating. He had 42 passes, 42 touchdown passes, 8 interceptions, 3 rushing. Now, mind you, 8 interceptions. 3 of them came. 2 of them came in the Super Bowl. So, wow. But I'm definitely giving him the 3rd spot. I'm giving the 4th spot to Mr. Josh Allen. He's all world. That kid is just all world. He brought Buffalo to another level this past year. I'm definitely giving it to Mr. Josh Allen as number 4. That kid, out of 19 games, he passed for 4,544 yards, 42 touchdowns, 9 rushing touchdowns, over 50 touchdowns. It's 51 total touchdowns. Amazing. Mr. Josh Allen, number 4. Number 5, I'm giving to Mr. Russell Wilson. Yes, Mr. Russell Wilson with 4,386 yards passing, passing rating is, the percentage passing 67%, 42 touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns. The guy was all world. And right now, it's the world. It's spinning. It's spinning, guys. It's spinning right now, and Russell is upset at Seattle. He got hit way too much in the last 2 years, and he's complaining about it, and he should. He's a multi-million-dollar quarterback, and it's all about the money coming in, and you have to protect your quarterback. And Seattle isn't, they have not, went out and gotten a team that will protect their quarterback, and get the running game going. They just, they've relied on Russell Wilson. He scrambles too much. That's all he does is scramble and, make plays. And he just can't do that all the time. You just can't do that. Number 5, excuse me. That was number 5. Number 6, I'm giving to Mr. Deshaun Watson, number 6. Out of 16 games, he was 4,800-yard passing, 33 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns rushing. I'm definitely going to give him the number 6 spot. The number 7 spot, I'm going to give to Mr. Lamar Jackson. Yes, Mr. Lamar Jackson gets number 7. And, he's well-deserved. Didn't have the best year of passing, but, the guy, 1,175 yards rushing and 3,098 yards passing. Hello. Number 8, top 10. I'm doing the top 10 guys only. Number 8, I'm giving the rookie of the year, Mr. Justin Hiber. That kid was all world. Just take your breath away, Justin. That's for sure. And definitely number 8 in the top 10. And number 9, I'm giving to Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is my number 9. He was just so great until he got hurt near the end of the year, and then his passing kind of failed him. He's going to have to mend that shoulder, that passing shoulder, and I'm sure he'll be all world this coming year. The number 10, the person who made the 10 out of the top 10 quarterbacks in 2020, I'm giving it to Mr. Baker Mayfield. Hats off to Baker. Baker brought his team into the playoffs. Hats off to Mr. Baker Mayfield. The kid just played incredibly good. Wait until next year. This year's they're gonna, the Browns are going to step up again. They'll make the playoffs, and watch out, Browns. They almost beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs this year. They almost beat them, and watch out for the Browns in 2021. This year, watch out for them. Definitely watch out for them. That's for sure. So that's my top 10. We have Baker Mayfield. We have Kyler Murray's number 9. We have number 8 is Justin Hiber. And we have number 7 is Lamar Jackson. Number 6 is Mr. Russell Wilson. Number 5 is Mr. Deshaun Watson. Number 4 will be Josh Allen. 3, Mr. Pat Mahomes. Number 2, Aaron Rodgers. And yes, the GOAT is number 1, Mr. Tom Brady. I'm telling you guys, what a season that kid had. And he's not really a kid, I guess, anymore. 43 years old. And he's saying that he might have 2 years in him. Wow. And like Aaron Rodgers wants to hear that. Oh, man. I'm telling you guys. Little cheetah factor option. The cheetah, Tyreek Hill is clearly the most explosive player in the NFL. He just is. I just think he is. I think Tyreek Hill is all world. But the Tampa Bay Bucks, man, they closed him down. And they know how to do it too. I think a lot of teams are going to be playing like the Tampa Bay Bucks, but I'm telling you something. But not every team has the rushing attack as Tampa does. Todd Bowles used that defense. I mean, that defense won the Super Bowl. That defense took that team to the Super Bowl. I mean, hats off to Todd Bowles and his defensive prowess with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What a show, guys. What a show. Let's end the show with a little Tom Brady mic'd up in the Super Bowl. How about that, people, huh? I think that'd be fun. This is going to be fun.
There we go, buddy. This is what we do. This is what we do. You're too tight. Too tight. I'm saving up for the Super Bowl. You did it all! Fall out, baby. You fall out. Way to go. You let us hear, Tom. Way to go. Yeah. Y'all already know what it is. Y'all know what time it is, right? Fly around, make plays, do what we doing all season. And we're going to be world champs.
Hey, we worked all year for this moment right here. Go out there and enjoy that, man. Go out there and take that, man. Play together. Play fast. Let's dominate a football game, man. Playmakers on three. 1, 2, 3.
It is finally here. It's the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers from Raymond James Stadium in Super Bowl 55.
I can't tell who real and who fake in the crowd.
Well, the hometown team, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, were 1-0 in Super Bowl. See if we can make it 2-0. Tonight, the Kansas City Chiefs are fighting to be back-to-back Super Bowl champions, the first NFL team to do so in 16 years.
Boom! Whoa, baby! You gotta love it!
Tom Brady has thrown 18 touchdowns in Super Bowls. He's playing in his 10th. Good golly. What else can number 12 do?
Let's go!
Hey, let's go. Let's go, D-line.
Light him up, JCP. Let's go! Let's do what we gotta do, baby. Yeah, good. Thanks. I'm Carl.
Man, I could listen to guys mic'd up all day long. How about that, man? I mean, that Super Bowl was so exciting. I mean, just to see the GOAT win his 7th championship is just amazing. And that Tampa Bay Buccaneer defense keeping Mahomes out of the end zone. Wow. I mean, that's just a big wow, I mean, tell you guys, there's so much things that are going on. We're going to have to talk college draft, and we'll talk about that next week. And, well, of course, this week, I mean, what happened? The Colts, what did they do? They acquired a quarterback. And who did they acquire? Well, they acquired Mr. Frank Wright, who used to be the quarterback's coach in 2017 and 2018 on the Philadelphia Eagles, is now the coach of the Indianapolis Colts. And who was on the chopping block? Well, not chopping block, but who was on the trade wire? It was a Philadelphia Eagle quarterback of the name of Carson Wentz. So Carson Wentz goes to the Indianapolis Colts and hooks up with Mr. Frank Wright. I mean, that's going to be one heck of a team. I'm telling you something. All they need to do is shore up, maybe a couple more wideouts for Mr. Wentz. But I'm telling you something. He won't be running around like he was in Philly. He was running around for his life, getting hit. I mean, that's why he was hurt all the time, because he had to take the game in his own hands. Carson Wentz just had to, because he was running for his life in Philly. I mean, he had absolutely no offensive line that could actually know how to block, not like the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts have the best offensive line in the NFL. So, I mean, Mr. Carson Wentz, I'm so happy for him. He's going to shine, and shine. I'm telling you, he will shine in Indy, that's for sure. And I'm telling you, the trade rumors of Mr. Wilson, well, guess what? They are for real now. They are for real. There's 10 teams have called the Seahawks to inquire about Wilson's availability. I mean, 10 teams. 10 teams, guys. And, I guess what had happened is that Wilson went into a meeting with Pete Carroll, and Wilson stormed out of the meeting and more or less flipped him off. Said, "Screw you guys. I've been getting hurt, running around with my to save my life because you have absolutely no offensive line, and I have to do it all for my all by myself to win." And he was just pissed off. Pete Carroll's that old time coach where he'd like to pound the ball, man. But you gotta light it up, man. You have one of the best wideouts. DK Metcalf, I think, is literally the best wideout in the NFL. He just is, and he's got 4.3 speed. He's huge, and he's a monster. He's a monster, and he has some great talent, incredible hands, and they just have it. But on the other hand, they need a running game, and he just runs for his life. I mean, I feel so sorry for Russell Wilson. I really do. I mean, the guy is such a great competitor. He's such a great passer, and he's always brings his team to the playoffs. He is the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle Seahawks gets rid of them. I don't know. I don't know what will transpire if they get rid of him. I really don't. So, man, that would be devastating to the Seattle Seahawks if Russell left. That's for sure. There's just, I don't know, guys. It's just funny how it goes in the NFL. First your money, then your clothes, right? What about the top 10 power rankings? I'll not do that. I'll give you the top 10. And of course, it's number 1 is the Tampa Bay Bucks. I mean, hello. And Kansas City Chiefs have to be number 2. I think number 3, I'm going to give it to the Green Bay Packers, that's for sure. They scored more points against the Bucks than the Kansas City Chiefs did, and I thought they even played better against them as well. The Buffalo Bills would definitely have to fall into number 4. I would give the number 5 ratings to the New Orleans Saints, that's for sure. And then number 6 would go to the Ravens. I'm going to go with the number 7 spot will be the Los Angeles Rams. The number 8 spot will be the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to give the number 9 spot to the Tennessee Titans. And the number 10 spot will go definitely to the Seattle Seahawks, number 10. And then I guess almost I'm tied for 10 would be the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Seattle Seahawks. That's for sure. So, I mean, it's going to be an interesting year next year, this next season. It's going to be very interesting. The Indianapolis Colts, now they have, Rivers is retired, but guess what? Carson Wentz is now there. Justin Hiber is going to light it up this coming year again for the Chargers. Hopefully the Chargers will, actually have some type of team for him to win with. And then I think the San Francisco 49ers are going to be another team that's going to be fighting for the playoffs. I mean, that team was hurt last year, but they're going to come back this year, and they're going to be definitely in shape. And, no one's going to be hurt. And, man, you have to watch out for definitely the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, the Texans appear steadfast in their refusal to trade Deshaun Watson away, but on the other hand, who knows about that? But even, I guess, San Francisco is looking at Deshaun. That's what the rumorville is. And then, I'm telling you, Jimmy Garoppolo, I mean, the whole entire offensive line of the San Francisco 49ers, they say that, they just love Jimmy. They love him. And I think they're going to keep Jimmy Garoppolo. I think Jimmy is a very underrated quarterback. I mean, the guy was hurt last year when he came back. He tried to play with a high ankle sprain. I don't know if you guys know what it feels like with a high ankle sprain. I do. It's very hard to come back. It's harder to come back off a high ankle sprain than a break. That's for sure. And, last but not least, let's say some prayers for Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods this last week got in a massive car accident, just tore up his leg, compound fractures. The guy's possibly, that's probably his career, and we send all our praise and prayers to him and his family. Get well soon, Tiger. Maybe we'll see you on the seniors tour. Maybe. Or maybe even like an analyst or something. We'd love to see that. But man, you were the best. You were the best, brother. You were the best. And, I think there's going to be some shocking teams next year. I think the Raiders are going to do better next year. I think the Minnesota Vikings will. I don't know if they have any improvement. They just need to get a better defense. Same with the Atlanta Falcons. I don't know about the Atlanta Falcons, man. They just, everyone gets so high on them, but then, man, they just seem to just always disappoint. The Dallas Cowboys. I mean, Dak Prescott. I don't think he'll be back this coming season. I really don't think he will. I really don't. His injury was so severe. If he does come back, he might come back near the end of the year, but I don't think he will. The Super Bowl champions, ex-Super Bowl champions of the New England Patriots, they're lost. They're lost. They're a lost team. They're lost without Tom Brady, that's for sure. And Cam Newton, wow. I don't know. You have to have some, some comfort and some pet compassion to Cam Newton. He did come off. He was coming off an injury, coming back into the NFL and playing with a brand new team, completely different system, COVID, no practicing. So I mean, I think they're going to give him another try, and I think he'll do better this coming year. Maybe, just maybe, get over 500 this year. That's the New England Patriots. Just maybe. The Washington football team, man, did they do great this last year. I mean, they made the playoffs with a losing record. And their defense was just amazing. And the whole comeback story of the year with Alex Smith, hats off to him. They have that star wideout, Terry McLaurin. A kid is just all world, that's for sure. Dwayne Haskins was cut and now is a Pittsburgh Steeler. I don't think he'll be a Pittsburgh Steeler when they start the season, that's for sure. He can light it up, guys. Dwayne can light it up, but he just needs to learn. And getting to the Miami Dolphins, looking at them, Tua, I don't know. I'm not a big Tua fan. If I was the Miami Dolphins and I still had Ryan Fitzpatrick, that's who I'd be starting. That's for sure. And the Miami Dolphins were looking at the Deshaun Watson trade. That's for sure. Now the Titans, wow, man, I don't know. I mean, they're a team. They're like the 90s team, the Titans. They have that big running back. And they just give them the ball and they just grind it. But then when teams stop that run and then they stop the pass. It's just, they just stop the Titans. And it's just a different league, man. It's just a different league. They got to pass more, and if I was Henry, I would be saying, hey, dude, stop, playing me so much. I'm gonna putz out, and I'm not gonna be worth anything. So, I don't know. The Titans they were disappointing. The Cleveland Browns. This Cleveland Browns. I was pleasantly surprised. I wasn't the biggest Baker Mayfield fan, but he turned me. He turned me this last season. He did so great. He really proved himself. The defense is definitely improving on the defense end of the Cleveland Browns. I'm telling you something. Baker Mayfield, if you ever watched, there was this one game in college where Baker Mayfield played Patrick Mahomes. And you have to watch the game, guys. It's just, you just do. It was the most exciting game I've ever seen in my life. It was this high-scoring game. It wasn't a defensive game at all. They were just bombing. Patrick was throwing touchdowns. Baker Mayfield throwing touchdowns. It was an amazing game to watch. If you really want to have a fun game to watch, go to YouTube and type in Baker Mayfield versus Patrick Mahomes in college, and you'll watch that game. And, man, it's one of the best games you'd ever see. What about those Los Angeles Rams? I think they are just, wow. They picked up Matthew Stafford. That is a blockbuster trade. I mean, that is a world trade. Matthew Stafford, wow. That's getting the holy grail for the Los Angeles Rams, guys. I mean, they are going to just shine, and shine. And their defense, wow, they're going to be that team's going to be tough. I don't know about the Seattle Seahawks with Russell Wilson. I really don't know. They might not have him. They might not have him. They might trade him. I don't know who they would trade for. That would be a weird situation. Maybe Deshaun Watson for Russell Wilson. Wow. Wouldn't that be wild? The New Orleans Saints. Drew Brees. I found out that after the Super Bowl, he was restructuring his contract with the Saints. It looks like that. Their Drew Brees might be coming back. It's likely, maybe. New Orleans has some big interest in bringing back Jameis Winston. And then Taysom Hill. He's under contract. I don't know about Taysom Hill. I don't know if all you guys are with me on that with Taysom Hill. He doesn't excite me. He just doesn't excite me. And we'll see. They're in a tough division, man. And the Rams. I mean, the NFC, man. I just think of it. All the great teams, great players. Wow. It's going to be tough for the New Orleans Saints to get back into the Super Bowl or even into the NFC Championship game. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for them. Well, how about those Baltimore Ravens? I have family back east in Maryland. Mr. Mark Kyer. He's a huge Baltimore Raven fan. I mean, the guy paints his face with Baltimore Raven stuff. I mean, the guy is, seriously, you go into his bathroom and the seats have Raven seats, and the walls are painted, purple and gold, and he walks around in his home with a Baltimore Raven helmet, a football helmet. The guy is nuts. I mean, he's just nuts, you know. I mean, he's a nutty kind of guy. And he has season tickets. I'm telling you something. I hope they get better because, you know, I fear for Mark. Fear for his sanity. Well, we've always feared for Mark's sanity, that's for sure. Anyway, let's talk about the Baltimore Ravens. You know, Lamar Jackson's just got to get better. You know, he ran over 1,100 yards, and many running backs didn't even get to that. But they need some wideouts. They need some wideouts for him to throw to. When he had those 3 tight ends, and he did so well the year before because he had the 3 tight ends, and he was all world, man. He's all world. So, but he needs some wideouts. I mean, think about it. Chris Godwin, he wants to stay at Tampa, but he might be available. And Allen Robinson and Kenny Galladay. Wow, wouldn't that be great if the Ravens picked up him? Or you know, I just even one or two of those guys would be awesome for the Ravens. That's what they need. That's what they need. And the Buffalo Bills. Let's go to the Buffalo Bills. We'll talk about them just a little bit. Josh Allen, all world. Thank you so much for a wonderful season, Josh. The Buffalo Bills, thank you. All the fans, thank you. I have family that are back east and Buffalo nuts. When I was a little kid, I don't know, like 8, 9 years old, I used to go to Buffalo Bill football games and watch the juice run loose in Buffalo. And I'm telling you, those were the days with Jim Kelly and them going to the Super Bowl 5 times and not winning. But they did go 5 times. Now, mind you, Josh Allen brought their team back from the dead. You know, he is just that good. And they just need a couple more things. I think they need another good wideout. They have, they have Diggs, and I know that. I mean, he's all world, that's for sure. They have Beasley. You know, they have Johnson. You have a few wideouts there. I think maybe, another wideout would be great, for them. Their tight ends are stepping up. But it wasn't about that, guys. It wasn't about that. It was about their defense and trying to stop the Kansas City Chiefs. They need rushers. They need the front 4 in the defense. They need that front 4 to penetrate the line so they can, so their defensive can step back and stop Kansas City. But they just couldn't stop Kansas City. They just couldn't stop them. Nothing like the Tampa Bay Bucks. I think the Tampa Bay Bucks, seriously, at the end of the year, Tampa Bay Bucks were the best defense in the whole entire league. The Tampa Bay Bucks. I know that for a fact. They beat the number 1 offense and the number 2 offense. They beat the Green Bay Packers. They were the number 1 offense. Number 2 offense was the Kansas City Chiefs. They beat them both, and they held the Chiefs to no touchdowns in the Super Bowl. So now the Green Bay Packers. I mean, Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is looking to be traded, and Aaron Jones are talking about trading him to Miami. Man, I tell you, I mean, the running backs, he didn't do well in the playoffs. He kind of got lost against Tampa Bay. But, they have some, they have the rookie, they have Williams. They have people, but, just it's painful. It's painful if you're a Green Bay Packer fan. It's painful to see them two years in a row in the NFC Championship and they lose. There's that, and that's why Aaron Rodgers was so pissed last year during the draft. They didn't get him. They didn't get him anything. They got him what? They got him his replacement? You got to be kidding me. What a slap in the face that one is. So we have the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is invincible, and he is gifted. But honestly, guys, if you put Patrick Mahomes, like I was telling everyone before, in this podcast. If you put him in the Jets, he'd be just as bad as Sam Darnold was in the Jets. It's all about the team around you, and plus he's a great talent. Don't get me wrong, he is a great talent, but he has a great team around him. And they lost that offensive tackle, the left tackle, and the right tackle. I mean, guys, you just can't win a Super Bowl losing your left tackle 2 weeks before the Super Bowl. You just can't. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. Hats off to the Kansas City Chiefs. He had to eat some crow, that's for sure. Last but not least, we'll look at the world champions, Tampa Bay Bucks. Wow. I mean, the GOAT is coming back. He says he wants to play until he's 45 for another 2 years. Wow. Wouldn't that be fun? Especially for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He didn't look diminished. It looked like he was near the end of the season. It's funny. Here he's 43 years old. It's near the end of the season, right? The end of the season. 43 years old. There are guys who were in their 20s that were like huffing and puffing near the end of the season and losing it, losing their edge. But Mr. 43-year-old, Mr. Tom Brady, just lighten it up, man. Lighten it up near the end. I mean, he played his best football near the end of the season. And hats off to that guy. I mean, he's great. And, of course he has some great players behind him. But he took a great team and he took them to the championship. And they deserve it. That's for sure. Not going to predict who's going to be in the Super Bowl, not just yet. I want to see how the teams progress after the draft. And then I want to see more acquisitions. Chris Godwin's leaving. Where's Deshaun Watson going? I guess the Jacksonville Jags are all about the first pick in the NFL draft this year, who happens to be Trevor Lawrence. I don't know about that guy. That's another quarterback that I just have questions about. I don't think he's just going to come into the league and just light it up. I just don't think that's going to happen. I really don't, especially on Jacksonville. And they just don't have the team that's supposed to be. I mean, Robinson stepped in, but, man, they got rid of Fournette. Hello, slap in the face in that one, that's for sure. So they haven't made the best decisions, the Jacksonville Jags, other than when they pick Trevor Lawrence. So I don't know what they assume it's going to happen after they pick him. Will he become like a Burrows? Will he get hurt? I hope not. But he had an operation on his left shoulder, his non-throwing shoulder, and they're repairing that. And they say he's going to be ready for the season. So we'll see. Anyway, people, thank you so much. This is Calvin Dean with the Calvin Dean Show. It's sponsored by the NFL Network. See you next week. Have a good one. Thank you, Calvin Dean. Bye-bye.